Today, dear friends, I will share with you something from my story growing up, how I met my guru, how I came to be here living as a monk, what led to me joining a monastery in India where I served and lived for 16 years. The topic I'm addressing more generally is about spiritual opportunity versus obligation and the mysteries of the mixing of all these emotions in our spiritual journey. First, I want to ask you a question. It's a question that my guru once asked one of his aspiring followers who had asked if he could join the ashram and live in the monastery. He very sweetly responded, "Do you ask the parents' permission before you would fall in love with their daughter or with their son? Do you ask anyone's permission? Are you obliged to love someone, or is love natural?" Sometimes love is something that develops. It's an experience that ripens and deepens over time. All of a sudden you realize, I'm in love. Sometimes it's at first glance, but in this world, it's more based on a almost biological urge to reproduce. Or it's based on some past relationship or flame that is resparked. Love is something that ripens like a fruit on a vine until it's succulent and sweet. But this idea of love in relation to Guru or God is very mysterious. This is not ordinary love, worldly love. This is cosmic love, transcendental love. Knock your socks off love. Blow your hat off love. Like standing at the end of the rainbow and having it bathe you in light. Like seeing the ocean for the first time, or climbing to the top of a beautiful mountain and seeing a horizon, a vista you could never imagine before. So when I met my guru, I was just a young boy, 9 years old. It wasn't so much something I chose, but nonetheless, it was very sweet. My Gurudev, Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Bhakta Bandhav Srila Gurudev. He was a very sweet, saintly sannyasi who traveled and preached throughout the world. When he came on his first world tour in 1996, at that point he was over 75 years old, and he came to our little village town in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. We had a small community of 100 or so Hare Krishna devotees who follow Bhakti Yoga, loving devotion to Krishna as the absolute truth, and Sri Radha as his eternal beloved and counterpart. So when I first met him, I remember he stayed for 3 days in our little community. Our community of devotees, as they're known, made up half or so of the whole town. So not really even a town, you could say, more like a little village. So we all got swept up in the sweetness of his charming devotion. He spoke for 3 days and then left. Before he came, there was a lot of controversy surrounding him. Some of the community didn't want him to come. They said he is from a different group, different family. And so we had a village council meeting. I wasn't part of the council. Where all the elders sat together and decided, should he come or not? Is he part of our Sangha? Sangha means a community of devotees. The elder devotee named Gopa Brindapal, he said, "What's the harm? Let him come. He'll be here for 3 days and then leave. Everything will go back to normal." So to this day, that's one of the running refrains of the community, because nothing could be further from the truth. My Gurudev came into our lives and transformed it completely. Everyone who met him, whose hearts were ready for this sweet mood and conception of Braja Bhakti, which means natural, spontaneous, loving devotion, as found in the land of Vrindavan, where Krishna is always playing with his friends and beloveds, parents, associates. My Gurudev came himself as a messenger from that land of Vrindavan, himself internally always present in that land of Vrindavan, serving Sri Radha in that land of Vrindavan. So he shared and spread that beauty and sweetness and love to whomever he came in contact with. But I remember just being a little boy, and the first time he came, we sat in a small living room, 30 or 40 of us, and I remember mostly falling asleep in his classes. But I still remember him, how he would sit on the sofa, his beautiful smile. You could say otherworldly, extraordinary, supramundane. And after he stayed for 3 days, 60-70% of the community followed him to his next destination. That was San Francisco, where we are speaking from now in our San Francisco base center. So we all followed him there to San Francisco. And so we come back to the question, Is love, is relationship something you choose? Is your inclination, your taste, your desire something you are almost destined to become, belong to? This is very mysterious. Spiritual life is an opportunity. It's not an obligation. Love cannot be forced for it to be love. In our scripture it said God gives free will. The free will to turn against Him, even to cause pain to oneself and others. Without free will, we don't have our own existence. We're just machines, programmed. And yet, our scriptures describe that love for God is natural. But yet it's something that awakens. It's like a taste. Something that one person likes a specific flavor, another has a taste for another flavor. This is love. Love means mutual attraction. Like a flavor has some quality, and the taster has some attraction towards that quality. And then mutual attraction arises. Ultimately, it's described only three things exist: love, lover, and beloved. God, the soul, and the love we share. So love is opportunity, and yet love is destiny. How can you understand? Love is opportunity and love is destiny. You want to taste something, and something else you do not have taste for. So when you come in contact with something that is very sweet to you, you want to taste it. Take that opportunity to taste it. You are not forced to love. Sometimes there'll be a guru who can see in you your desire. They can see your deeper essence that you yourself may not even be aware of. And they can call you to that. Therefore, we understand that every soul has a specific taste or inclination within its constitutional nature. And God relates to everyone in that way. So there are many teachers and there are many paths, and they can help us advance to a higher state of being, experiencing different states, tasting different flavors. Sometimes in life we come upon that thing that just feels like it's meant to be. Then you jump and you take that opportunity with no fear. And yet it's advised to be patient, to wait some time. Why? First, love may develop first. This is called Purvarag in Sanskrit. Purvarag means attraction to something before meeting. Like you see someone who's very attractive, and you start developing rag. Rag means attraction. When will you actually meet and experience your mutual attraction? Real love means both sides. And with Guru and God, this is also there. But Guru is always thinking of God. And as the messenger of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna, in this lineage of enlightened teachers, they help with parental love and affection. Raise you up to the platform of divine friendship, into the association of Krishna, and to the realization of your eternal form and relationship and sweet love. So Braja Bhakti is the path of love and sweetness in relationship with Krishna and with Sri Radha. And it's supported by a very strong foundation of spiritual knowledge and wisdom and the ancient tradition of discipline to protect and preserve the sacred teachings and esoteric knowledge and mysterious experience of divine love as it awakens, becomes like a wild current that needs protection and to channel it towards its ultimate source. So when I met my Guru, followed him to San Francisco. This was in the summer. That fall, we went to India. I went to India for the first time. I was 9 years old. And that was where my father, who took me, and I received mantra initiation and accepted him as our Guru. Whenever I talk to my friends or people who are interested in this path, I tell them, spiritual life is an opportunity. Don't let anyone tell you it's an obligation. You don't have to do anything. And also for myself here, my spirit is very open, very non-sectarian. I am sharing with my fellow citizens of this earth, children of God, walking many paths. I don't seek to convert anyone. But if this flavor and this taste is attracting you, then also how can I say no? You're not allowed to join Vrindavan, the family of Krishna. Stay out. This is our club. There's a barrier to entry. No. The cost of entry is only your greed for it. If you want to taste, to experience the sweetness of the love of Sri Krishna in the land of Vrindavan, all are welcome. So there in India, my Gurudev gave me my spiritual name, Rasik Mohan, before my parents had given me the name Ram. We grew up in a Vaishnav community, Bhakti Yoga community. Very beautiful family and community there. After our month-long pilgrimage, where we walked to all the sacred pastime places of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna, going barefoot, all the sacred places, taking the dust on our bodies and hearing about the philosophy, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna as taught by our line. When we came back to our home in California, Badger, later our Gurudev dubbed it New Braj, and called it the head of his worldwide mission. That is where I received my Gayatri Mantra initiation, entrance into the meditation practices upon the different Gayatri mantras that awaken your relationship with Krishna and with your Guru and with yourself, which are sacred, as if codes or powerful talismans that by service to them, by meditation upon them, they open and give you a revelation of your own nature, your own spiritual identity and form in relationship with your eternal shelter, your gurus, as friends, as associates, and how you can walk with the divine in everything you do, how you can live a transcendental life and beyond life, live an eternal life as described in our holiest of scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam. Muktir hitvanyata rupena swarupena vyavastiti. Real liberation is achieving your spiritual form and identity in relation to the absolute truth, supreme love and beloved. I remember in India when I was just a boy, 9, and I first received the Harinam Mahamantra initiation. My father received the Gayatri Mantras, and I asked my Guru, when will I get that? He said, maybe next year. And so even though this was not so common, he gave me when I was 10. So now I've been chanting these mantras for the last 25, 26 years. And over time, more and more, this gives you sweetness, gives happiness, gives relationship with Krishna, with Sri Radha, according to your taste, your destiny. It was very interesting for me because when I was 10, 11, 12, all through my childhood, after I met my Gurudev, he always asked me to be a monk. I was a little boy and he said, oh, when you grow up another foot or two, you'll join my temple in India. You'll join my monastery. You'll become a monk and serve my mission. And then he would see me 6 months later and I would be a little taller. He said, now you're this tall. When you're like that, another foot or so, you'll come live in India and join my mission, be a monk. When you're a kid, people love to ask you, what are you going to be when you grow up? Being a monk wasn't on my top 5 or my top 10. It actually wasn't on my list at all. I liked sports. I liked adventure. I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a poet or a writer. But my Gurudev said, be a monk and serve my mission. So his love, opportunity, obligation, was this required of me? Or was it my destiny? Would have not chosen, to not choose is to choose. To be is to not to be. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. Karma, activity, vikarma, negative activity, or akarma, inactivity. Only the wise can understand the difference. Sometimes we do things, and by doing them, we're not doing something that we're meant to be doing, that will give us our highest bliss. Yet we think, I am doing this. So I went every year to India with my father, and 2 of those years we took my whole family, 5 sisters, mother, father, myself. We all went to the month-long pilgrimage in Vrindavan. Amazing experience. Maybe later I'll talk about it in more detail. In the meantime, back in California, I studied at my Gurudev's private school he inaugurated. We were taught academics as well as spiritual studies. I remember when I was about 15, I don't remember exactly which year it was, 15 or 16. Every summer, my Gurudev would come to our village and give a week-long festival. Every morning and evening he would speak about Krishna and the philosophy of spiritual life, how to realize our own spiritual relationship with Krishna. The whole year we would wait and prepare for this festival and long for it. Transcendental dance, kirtan, singing, dramas, music, amazing feasts, and of course, the most important, the jewel in the heart of it all, my Gurudev. When he would come, we would wait for an hour, singing at the entrance to the grounds in the household where he stayed. For days in advance, we'd be preparing the festival. And as he would come with an entourage of sometimes 7 or 8 cars, or people coming from different areas would come in advance. He would tour from one city to the next, and one town to another village and another city. And everyone would come like a transcendental caravan. And we'd have 60 or 70 of us, many young children, many of my at that time, young god brothers and god sisters, now adults, grown up, serving and engaged in so many wonderful activities. We would sing and wait, and he would come up the road in his car, around the corner. Some of the kids would run ahead. Why? The driveway up. It's a long drive. They would come along with the car. Spiritual life is very interesting. It's not that we are worshipping Guru so much as Guru is helping us develop our relationship to Krishna, to the absolute truth, and to realize ourself. And he is our own family member, associate of Krishna. And so what can there be but joy to see such a personality? And what can you do but offer your love and devotion to such a personality? From a worldly point of view, from a secularist point of view, they think, oh, what is this? Personality cultism. But who can stop the flow of love? Who can restrict that? If it is genuine, if it is pure. So as our Gurudev would come, and his smile would wash over the dancing crowd like a warm shower of rain. in a sunny sky with a rainbow, a few drops. And everyone would just wait for a glance, like catching a drop of golden rain. We would offer a pranam, obeisance. We say, what is this? Sometimes people who did not know him would sit on the outside and think, what is this? Why are they offering pranam to this mortal? Who is he? How is he any better or different than us? It's described that every life we meet, friends and family, mothers and fathers, this is all just the temporary transformations of the spirit through different stages of experience. But when we meet that personality who's our eternal family, not just a guru, but the one who is our eternal relative, who is inviting us to realize our true home, how can we do anything but fall in love and wish to go there? I remember how we built a pavilion for my Gurudev to give his lectures in New Badger. And once he started giving his talks there, by the third year of his coming, as I recall, after every morning or evening program, he would walk a few hundred yards back to his room where the householders were hosting him and who had built this pavilion for him. And as he would walk, everyone would be waiting to see him pass by and just hope for a chance to share a glance or perhaps hear some sweet word or have a blessing or a touch on the hand on their head. And before he would go out, my Gurudev, he would give sweets or cookies while everyone was chanting and singing, and one by one they would come and receive this prasad. This sweetness, you cannot imagine. So my Gurudev, he would walk and everyone would wait, and I was very fortunate that he had some affection for me, and he would put his hand on my shoulder and we would walk all the way there from the pavilion to the house and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Those times were always the most magical. The whole year revolved around this festival in the summer and the pilgrimage in the fall to India, writing a letter, hearing some response from him. And as we would come to the pathway down from the pavilion, through the arches, through what later became, or is nowadays, the bazaar, where everyone sets up shops and sells trinkets and cloth and items and books. And then he walks along the beautiful lawn with rows of flowers next to a beautiful pool. Sometimes he would stop for some time and speak with everyone. He was there next to that swimming pool. I remember he would speak with me. Oh, now you're this tall. When you gain about a foot and a half, you'll come live in India, join the monastery. And then when he would come around the corner, around the house, and go to the last corner, there would be usually the children and some of the middle-aged young children, those who are 6 and 7, 10, 15, 20, and some of the adults. And as he would turn the final corner of the house, going to his room, everyone would begin to sing. Govinda Dhamo Dharamadhaveti Govinda Dhamo Dharamadhaveti Govinda Dhamo Dharamadhaveti Govinda Dhamo Dharamadhaveti. Our Gurudev was most expert at awakening our love and offering it to his love, transporting us to a higher experience, a higher realm. And we would sing to Govinda, to Damodar, to Madhav, all the sweet names of Krishna, as sung by his associates, especially his Brata Gopis. And as we came past the French doors to the kitchen, sliding door, close to his room, everyone would begin to sing, Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. And then Gurudev would say, Jai Jai Shri, and everyone together would roar, Radhe. And he would say more loudly, Jai Jai Shri, Radhe, more loudly, Jai Jai Shri, Radhe. And then smiling sweetly and waving to everyone, he would say, we'll meet again tomorrow. And he would enter his room. Thank you for your time and for listening. I'll continue this same topic in the next episode, speaking a little bit more about my experience in school, growing up, how I would read back and forth to my Gurudev. I remember first time coming back on a plane, flying from India back to America, I wrote him a very long description of the sunset and how we traveled back in. It was like following the sun. And then I described we lived in a farm. We had strawberries and boysenberries and blueberries and orchards and so many varieties of vegetables and grains and fruits and flowers, herbs. I remember writing him a 7-8 page description of everything by hand. And he wrote back so sweetly and kindly, like he actually had the time to read this silly ramblings of a little child. And how I had to face the choice to follow his desire to be a monk and serve his mission, or to choose a life not the road less traveled, to choose a life that is wide and broad and everyone is rushing along to death. This is the main highway of life, how to live and marry and have children and do your job, perform your duties. Would I choose that path? Or the path of love and responsibility to love and to serve? So I thank you for your time. Please feel free to share any questions you may have. And those assisting, the monk students, will share those with me, and I will try my best to address them in the upcoming episodes. Radhe Radhe.